morning, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your week so far. Excited to be back in Lynchburg, back at work after a pretty chaotic Music City Open trip. So it's always fun to go to Disc Golf Pro Tour events, not so fun to be there during crazy storms and all that fun stuff. But hey, we made it. There was a tournament that actually happened, which is exciting because for a while there I didn't think that was going to be the case. And so we are super excited for this month ahead. We got some fun stuff coming up that I'll kind of talk through a little bit today. Don't have too many big updates going on today, but answer some questions and get rolling. So the first thing, obviously, as we wait for people to roll in, since we are live here, I'm gonna go over the releases for this week. We don't have too many restocks or releases, but there's one bigger thing. So I'll go over the kind of releases first, and then I'll talk through a pretty big update for our product offering, which is exciting. So first, we're going to have some Opto Ice Splash fuses. We're going to have the Supreme Raider and a Nicklaus FD dropping. I don't think this is Nicklaus's Open, or it might be his Open at Austin FD. I actually haven't seen it, but it's obviously not his Music City Open FD because that just happened. We're going to be releasing some Robbie C Z Sparkle cicadas. These are absolutely incredible. We actually were selling them down at Music City, and people were absolutely loving them, so we're excited to release those this weekend. I talked about this some last week, but we have a the release of the Prodigy 2025 Tour Series. That's actually already live on the site. We have a restock on the Get Freaky Confetti Zones on the site. We are finishing the MVP restock, so that is still going up. A few more molds are still being put up right now, so we're finalizing that. Then we also have Halo Thunderbirds that are dropping, not Hunterbirds, just the stock Halo Thunderbirds. That's coming this week. We're actually sold out of Thunderbirds right now, so we're releasing that this week. And also, finally, the Break 68 MD3s are in. I actually have one. Brad was nice enough he made this little shadow box for my office, which is sick. I'm actually going to end up taking it home, I think, and hanging it home. But you can see the Break 68 MD3 in there, and then my old pinky. So that was set that back up right there. That was a very nice gesture by Brad. But the Break 68 MD3s are in hand and will probably ship by tomorrow if they haven't already shipped today. So if you placed a pre-order for those, they're shipping out very soon. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about, so we've done a few surveys over the past little bit, and one of the surveys that we were looking at and asking questions about was our subscription box. So if you don't know, we currently have a subscription monthly box for $45. You get 3 premium discs plus a swag item. We've had that for 2.5 years now. I think that box has been available, and people have been absolutely loving it. But the number one reason it gets canceled and the number one reason that people don't sign up for it is the cost, which makes sense. It's expensive, $45 a month. So we met internally about is there anything we could do? And to be honest with you, this is one of our worst margin products as far as the profit margin goes, just because we always do at least 1 premium or custom stamp disc plus a swag item and 3 premium plastic discs in today's market at a cost average of $15, not mentioning the swag item to you, is something where we're not making much money on. And so there wasn't room to lower the price for the 3-disc box. But obviously there's still that demand there. People still like the theme we do and stuff like that. They just can't do $45 a month, which makes perfect sense. So what we decided, and is actually now live on the site, is we are offering a 2-disc box. So what this will be is for $32, you get 2 discs. One of them is going to be a custom stamp disc. They're both going to be premium discs. So you get 2 discs for $32, or you can get 3 discs plus the swag item for $45. So that will offer where it's going to be similar vibes, similar themes. So basically you're missing out on an additional disc and the swag item for that month's theme. But if it's something where it does at least offer that little bit lower price point for people who want to get in on some of the special releases and stuff like that, we do. So this month is when we're kicking it off. So I'm not going to spoil the theme for this month. I think we're going to talk about that on Friday. So I'll let the Friday hit. But let me just tell you that if you're a fan of personality stamps and trickery, you're going to want this month's box. So if you want to get ahead of it, you can go ahead and get in this month to actually kick off the 2-disc box. Both discs in the 2-disc box are going to be custom stamped, and in the 3-disc box, all 3 discs are going to be custom stamped, plus a really fun swag item. So, yeah, we're super stoked for that. We're figuring out logistically ordering stuff like that, how it's going to work in the long term, but it allows us to, offer something where there is definitely demand for, but like I said, we didn't have room on the 3-disc box to cut the price. We might have been able to cut it by like $1 or $2, but that's not what people are asking for. So the 3-disc box we can't really cut, but offering a 2-disc box allows there to be an option. So $32 gets you the 2-disc mystery subscription, cost average of $16 a disc there, or the 3-disc box gets you 3 premium disc plus a swag item. So really it ends up averaging, because a swag item probably typically around $3 to $4. So we'll just say it's $3. So it ends up averaging like $14 a disc plus a swag item. So the 3-disc box is definitely still the better value. But if you're looking for a way to still be involved with all of the subscription box stuff and get in on that action for a little bit cheaper, there you go. There is now an option. So we're super excited about that. There was one other thing I was going to talk about, but I don't really remember what it was. Oh, yes, I do. It was, we just released the top 25 best-selling discs of the month of March. So let me actually pull that up and run through that, because I know people are always interested in what that is. You can actually find it on our site if you scroll down. We have all of our blog posts, and you can see March top 25 is the most recent one. So we'll start at number 25 and go up. Coming in at 25, we had the Mint Disc Grackle. We just had a big restock in of them, so nothing surprising there. Next up, the Discraft Buzz OS. The End of a Gorgon was only at 23 this month, which actually is surprising to me how low it is. The DGA Sonar broke into the top 25, coming in at number 22. Very underrated disc there in general, so it's good to see it getting some love, because it was my putting putter last month, because it was one of the worst selling putters on our site the month before. So for it to break into the top 25 is exciting. The Axiom Pixel, the Simon Line Pixel, comes in at 21. The Gateway Wizard comes in at number 20. In March, we went down to Disc South, and we had some Robbie C Wizards and some Connor Wizards down there, so that makes sense there. Coming in at number 19, we have the Innova Wraith. Then the MVP Wave from the MVP restock. A lot of the MVP and Axiom was actually spiked from the end of last month MVP restock. So a lot of the Axiom and MVP was actually from basically being on the site for like 2 days. So it's actually impressive how much is on this list. So MVP Wave at 18, the Proxy at 17, the Envy at 16. At 15, we had the Buzz SS. This was led a lot from the Buzzra. The SS Buzzra. We still had some in stock during March. The drop happened during February. We still had some in stock during March, and so they were still kind of churning through there. Number 14, we had the Hooligan Cash. That's the Big Trev Cash. We dropped them down at Disc South. Same thing with the Shaman at 13, Conman Shamans. The Innova Thunderbird at 12, mainly led from my Hunterbirds. Then the Destroyer came in at 11. Now we're into the top 10. So the top 10, we start off with the Axiom Crave, and then we have the Axiom Hex. This was a little bit from the OTB releases, but mainly just from the stock MVP restock. The Captain's Raptor came in at number 8. That was a new release for the month of March. The Trail came in at number 7. That's just a stock trail. Those things just move. The Mako 3 came in at number 6. This is from the Bogey Bro Ranch Mako 3. We dropped down to Disc South. The Range at number 5, and then a Discraft Heavy 432 with the Discraft Ricky Proto Putter, the Discraft Zone, and the Sagara. Those come in at 4, 3, and 2. And the number 1 was the MD3, which was obviously the Break 68 MD3. The Break 68 MD3 actually ended up being probably, statistically, it was our second best seller over the last 2 years, behind the Aceathon Zone. It was one of the best-selling discs we've ever had, so that was super encouraging and awesome to see. So we had a lot of fun with that. So the MD3s, like I said, those are shipping probably Wednesday. Got a lot to ship out. Yeah, I don't know why my webcam flickers. I see some people mentioning that. No idea. It didn't used to. It just randomly started. So Might have to find myself a new webcam. So the other thing that's coming out soon is the top 50 discs of the first quarter. The only things that are kind of interesting on here is the Passion sneaks in there, even though we didn't have a Passion restock. We just had the Disc of the Year Passions drop. That comes in at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Tempo comes in at number 6. The Break 68 MD3 is still number 1. Like I said, those just sold so well. Number 50 on the list is the H7. Kind of sneaky, sold some of those. The Captain's Thrasher, which there wasn't actually a Captain's Thrasher release. There was just some leftovers. That came in at like number 49. So the list actually, I don't think the top 50 is going to surprise too many people, but that'll be coming out probably today or tomorrow. So, all right, let's go ahead and take some questions here. I have some from Instagram. I'll also take some from the live chat to wrap up the show here. Not a lot to talk through today. The big thing obviously was just the 2-disc subscription box. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about that. So I'm going to make sure I ran through that. Let's see. Joseph Tanner said, would you rather be restricted to one putter mold, one mid-range mold, or one driver mold permanently? I think he's saying like you can still throw a bunch of other discs. It's just you're stuck with only one of this mold. And for me, I think the easiest would be one mid-range mold. I think that if I just had an MD3, I could cover with overstable fairways and beat in the MD3. I could cover everything I need. So I think I'd go one mid-range mold, and it would be the MD3. There's an interesting one from C. Broughton 7, which I'm assuming is also the Chris Broughton that's in the chat. So here you go. Who gets a win first? Goose, Ezra Aderhold, or Austin Turner? This is a tough one because if I were to just guess based on history, I would probably say Aaron Gossage. I think if you look at those three players historically, he's been the player that's been the closest the most. But I think he's kind of on a downward trend right now, whereas Austin Turner's on an upward trend. Ezra Aderhold, it just depends on the course. I think at the right course, he could pop off. So I think it's going to be too hard for a lefty to get a win. I think that it's going to be very course specific. So I'm going to go Ezra Aderhold. I think that he's most likely to get a win first. Michael Amadio said, if we thought about creating a React channel to shots in the sport. We haven't thought about creating a React channel to shots per se, mainly because I think it's kind of just like cheap content. We thought about creating a React channel in general just for like what's going on in the sport. So more, we actually have done this on Grip Locked a few times, like reacting to Eagles' announcement, where we'll like kind of play his video a little bit, and then we give our thoughts and opinions. 'Cause I think if you're adding something to a moment, that's great. If it's just like, you know, like, what was the name of the channel? I think it was like Small Bore Outlaw or something that was just basically clip farming and just taking all the best shots, putting them together. Like, that's cool, and it has a good, honestly, I think it's good for the sport as far as like engagement and stuff like that. It's just, it's not something I'm interested in doing. We are interested in doing more like live stream, companion stream type stuff as the live streams get bigger, but that's a little bit different type of content. Saggio Wright said, did you have Nicklaus winning 2 times this season before Gannon won once? Of course not. I don't think anyone would have. So, yeah. Coach Dave said Goose had a win down in New Zealand, didn't he? Yes, but I don't think, like, that doesn't count. Wins on tour is what we're talking about. Oh, yeah, I said, when you hire a new employee, do you make sure they're not better than you and Trevor at disc golf? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Clayton Lewis he still works with us like 1 day a week. He used to be work with us a lot more, and I mean, he was 1,000 rated just like last year. He could absolutely destroy us. Graham who works for us. He's better than Trevor and I. I'm sure there's other. Jonah Burdick, who works for us, is better than Trevor and I, for sure. I'm sure there's more I'm missing, but Kyle Sennett, who worked for us, he was better than us. So no, we do not check if they're better than Trevor and I. There was a while there where probably more of them were better than Trevor and I. Paul NC said, have I broken 100 in golf yet? I know you don't recommend 14-speed riders for disc golfers yet you're using a driver in ball golf. If you consider using a 3-wood until you break 90. I'm actually worse with my woods, but no. I have not broken 100 in golf yet. We're about to shoot another break 100 in my break series when I'm trying to play my best, or even if I'm out playing with my like friends and we're out there like I care about my score. I go 6-iron off of like every tee for this exact reason, because my driver is so unpredictable. Because like I hit with the open club face. I'm trying to close it right now, but I hit with the open club face, and my iron swing at least doesn't have a like much movement to it when it comes to a slice. So it just is kind of like I just hit it to the right, but it goes straight. My driver swing, I have an open club face and I slice it, and so it goes right. It starts right and then goes farther right. So I hit like in the scramble video, I hit with the driver, but when I break 100 or attempt to break 100, I think we're filming that on Monday. When I attempt to break 100, I will just be basically using irons off the tee and just focusing on making contact, getting the ball out there. And then I think I just have to shoot like what? If I average a 5 on every hole, what does that do? A 5 on every hole puts me at like a 90 something. Yeah, 5 on every hole puts me at a 90. So that's what I got to focus on, is just try to hit a 5 on every hole. And then that leaves me 9 chances to mess up and take a 6. So S. Burke 89 said, looking for a shout out, won my first tournament. Shout out to S. Burke. I don't know his name, but he just won his first tournament. So there you go. Any tips on introducing new people to the sport without making it sound silly? I think most of the time if I'm introducing someone new to the sport, they're just like my friends. And so they're excited about or I can get them excited about like, oh, let's go try disc golf. I'll teach you how to play. Like, just come with me. And they're excited because I'm excited. I think if you you just describe it as golf with discs. And then if they're like, oh, frisbees, then you can explain like, oh, no, they're actually like built to be thrown harder and such. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you explain it as we're throwing frisbees in a park at big metal baskets, yeah, it is silly, but it's kind of supposed to be silly. Like, it's a fun game. If you describe, cornhole a certain way, it's going to, like, if you describe anything a certain way, it sounds dumb. So I wouldn't worry about sounding silly. I would just, like, tell them, like, just ask people to come play and have a good time. And if they start, like, asking questions, just lean into it. Accept that it is a little bit of a silly sport. But I think what always intrigues people is when you start telling them, like, no, these discs are designed to be thrown harder. So some are, like, sharper. They're going to, like, take to speed a little bit better. Some are more rounded. So they're going to actually fly a little bit straighter, take a little less speed. And, like, they start learning, like, oh, there's, like, different things to this. Then they get intrigued and then they want to try it. And, also you can just play into what type of friend it is. Like, you can... If it's a competitive friend, you can just bet them like, oh, hey, here's the deal. If you go out there and you throw one of these, like you tell them, I can throw a disc 400 feet. If you go out there and you throw one over 300 feet, I'll buy you lunch. There you go. They're going to be at the course, and they're probably not going to throw over 300 feet. So, win-win. See some other questions here. What's my favorite disc of all time? It's either the Thunderbird, the PA3, the Destroyer, or the MD3. And I just kind of change it up all the time. I'm going to go Thunderbird right now, though. Seth Peterson said, what are your picks for the President's Cup? I don't know exactly what he means by that. I'm assuming he means which team I think will win, which is the USA. And if he means who I'm voting for to get on the team, Ezra Robinson, of course. So, yeah. Grace Wilson should be in interview, second and first place in college champ in her third and fourth tournament. Crazy. Okay, let's look at this chick. PDGA, Grace Wilson. Oh, is she a Liberty player? Oh, she came in second in singles, and Liberty obviously won champ flight. Oh, she lost by 1. Brutal. Yeah, I have no idea who Grace is. Never met her. We don't do interviews. Tour Life does. So if Brody shows interest in college disc golf, then maybe she could get on there, but we would have to see. Wyatt Wood said, I ran a 5K way too fast. I wish I listened to your advice of you will always run too fast. Yeah, at races, very hard to not go out way too fast. I actually have my half marathon on Saturday, and I feel pretty good about it. I'm going to try to run sub 2 hours, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, but yeah, you gotta really be disciplined at the start of a race. That is where many men go to die, is the start of a race. You start off running a 5K, you're planning at running a 7:30. Next thing you know, you're running 6:50 and you feel great, and then you're screwed. It's even worse in marathons and half marathons. So, John Geyser said, will Foundation ever own a course? I'd love to play a course designed by you and Brody. I think that we would probably design a course. I've designed like pitch and putt type courses before, but I've never designed like a full championship level course. I could see that happening. I don't think I'm not going to say we will never own a course, but if we ever did, it would be like we bought a property for our warehouse and retail store that just happened to have enough room for a course, because the financial side of owning a disc golf course right now just doesn't make sense yet. There's just not enough players. And there's not enough players, and there's so many good free options that having to own a course where you have, to pay like $10-20 a round or something, it's going to be hard to make it. And so I'm not going to say we will never, but not anytime soon. We're much more likely to work with the local Parks and Rec and design a course than us actually own a course. Plamondon, I think. What shoes are you racing in this year? I'm going to race in the Brooks Hyperion Max 2s, the same ones I ran my marathon in back in November. They only have like 100 miles on them, so I'm just going to race them again. And I've really enjoyed them, so I'll probably just rebuy those come my next race, which will probably be it'll probably be in November, my next race I do. So let's see. Howling Wolf said, Hunter, how are you doing today? I'm doing great. Up and Down Disc Golf said, is it refreshing to see MCO change up the layout each year, or should they commit to one? In general, I think that committing to the majority of a layout's a good idea. I think tweaking it's fine. Like making a pin placement harder or moving a tee back or a little bit or something. I like that, but I think mainly from the audience's perspective, the courses that are most memorable and stick out the most are ones with signature holes or holes that have a reputation to them. So I think that if you fully change up the course, like this year, the course was drastically different. There was a few, but like even we were playing with Brody, I saw the course last year, he saw the course 2 years ago, and like it changed so much. It had been changed so much between the like last 2 years. It gets hard for people at home to feel attached or really remember. Like if I say hole 10 at Music City, you might right now remember, but a month from now it's going to be pretty difficult. I'm trying to even think of what hole 10 was. It also doesn't help that, and I don't know actually if they'll be back at this property next year or not, but it doesn't help that the property currently is like more or less like farm field, and you're just, a lot of the shots just kind of look and feel similar in person, more so than, I think it actually films better than it spectates, because in person you are really just in this one space with some trees and stuff, and a lot of the shots start to blend together. So yeah, I think sticking to if you can find a solid layout and stick to it, I think that's the best. Like I said, changing up some of the tee locations or pin locations, stuff like that, I think could definitely be a good move to where it still provides a variety and you can make it harder when necessary. But changing up like entire layouts, I think, is not the best move, mainly because it gets hard for fan bases, in my opinion, the fans at home, to really like have an identity for the course. So, yeah. Brody Roberts said, with the recent drama, will it have a huge effect on disc golf? Obviously what he's referencing here is the protest Natalie Ryan made. The Natalie Ryan's debut was at Music City, and with that, Abigail Wilson protested by walking off on the first hole. The video of that went viral, and by viral I mean like Fox News picked it up. I saw New York Post wrote an article about it. Daily Mail wrote an article about it. I'm sure other people, like it got viral, millions and millions of views across all platforms. Will that have a huge effect on disc golf? I don't think it'll have a huge effect. It obviously brings eyeballs to the sport. It brings publicity. You know, this is one of those things where it's like, is all press really good press? I can definitely see it both ways, because, you know, I think that there definitely a negative connotation around it. Absolutely. You know, I think that a lot more people are seeing this, and it being this political of a topic, this, you know, emotion-driven of a topic, it automatically gets people fired up. And even both sides, I feel like, of the issue get negatively fired up. So could it have a negative effect in the sense of people see disc golf in a certain light that they don't like, because either it allows the protest to happen or it allows what the protest was against to happen? Absolutely. But I don't think it's going to have a huge effect one way or the other, because, you know, on the other side, if you're trying to look at this in a positive light, disc golf was on a lot of people's TVs this weekend that it typically wasn't, because, you know, there was a lot of people talking about this. It was on a lot of people's timelines. So it at least was out there. But yeah, I don't think it'll have a huge effect one way or the other, personally. NYQPI said, sorry I came in late. Did you give any teasers for the subscription box? I can rewind to listen if you did. I didn't give any teasers for the subscription box, but I did announce we are now offering a 2-disc box. So there's a 2-disc box and a 3-disc box, which I think is exciting. Cole said, hey, Hunter, condolences on Duke. Sad to see a great season in that way. You know, it is what it is. I genuinely think that we were the best team in the country. But that's the nature of March Madness. It's not going to be, you know, with anyone can beat anyone. Houston was a very, very good team. Florida is an incredible team. And so when you have a very, very good player or very, very good team, you know, obviously they can always win. And so I think we had control. I think that there were some very dumb mistakes. I think down the stretch, inexperience, I think, caused a lot of it with our freshmen. I mean, it looked like when we were trying to inbounds the ball at the end there, it looked like no one really wanted it. I mean, you just had everyone basically posting up with their hand out. And you could tell John Shire was frustrated at him. You know, is there something Shire could have done differently? Probably. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we went on an 8-minute scoring drought. We were getting good shots, just not hitting them. That sucks. You can't have that happen. We still held a 6-point lead after that. And then you had the best player in the country have a shot at the game winner, and he just left it a little short. So, you know, you can't be but so upset. Houston was a very good team and beat us fair and square. And then Florida obviously won the national championship last night. So it is what it is. I would have loved to have seen Duke win, but I think we had a great season. It is also tough that we just really, our inexperience showed every close game we just couldn't really close out, because all of our losses were like within points. And it seems like when we were beating people, we were absolutely blowing them out of the water. So I think that was the other tough part, is like we didn't have that much experience in close games in crunch time, except for the beginning of the season and then against Clemson. And against Clemson, we had a game-winning shot and our feet slipped out from under us from wet floor. So it's like we weren't really battle-tested all year, which just kind of sucks. The ACC was just a little weak this year, and we had a very good team, so we just steamrolled everyone. So it is what it is. That's basketball, you know. Howling Wolf. Has Foundation ever thought about doing videos or maybe challenges with small disc golf stores so they can get their name out better and help the sport grow and help the small man? We've done collab videos with smaller disc golf channels, and we're all about doing that. We've also done, different partnerships and stuff with smaller disc golf products, but we've never really done any with a smaller disc golf store, mainly because we're a disc golf store. So we've worked our butts off to build the audience we have, and we just don't see the idea behind. I will always answer questions and give advice and help people on the like business or marketing side of disc golf stores, but we're not going to promote other disc golf stores with our audience that we've built, if that makes sense. So we've collabed with like smaller YouTube channels. We're all about that. We've collabed with and worked with people who have like newer disc golf products, but people who like directly compete in the same space as us in the retail side. Yeah. Let's see. Andrew Kirby said, any awesome plans for the tournament this year in Lynchburg? We're helping out with the tournament, mainly with the like promotion of it. Because obviously we have the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship, but alongside that, there's also the Disc Golf Pro Tour Amateur Championships. I forget the exact name of it. Going on in Lynchburg, so you can come play a lot of the courses in the Lynchburg area, which we're stoked about. I think it's going to be an absolute blast. And hopefully it'll actually end up making the Tour Championship bigger and better attended. And then obviously I think that a lot of our fans are going to be really excited about being able to come play the courses you see in Foundation videos in a competitive environment. So I think that actually, let me verify this, but I think Pro Tour Amateur Championship, I think registration might have already, did it go up yet? I know it's going up soon. Let's see. The Amateur Championship at the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. I think, it looks like early registration for whole sponsors opens tonight, and then May is when actual registration opens. So super excited about that. It's October 17th to the 19th. Is what the Battle for Bedford turned into, but you get to, it looks like there's going to be like tee times at New London, Ivy Hill. That seems to be the, Am check-in. Oh, there you go. Am first round tee times. I don't think that the course is published yet, but you get to play courses around here. That's a guarantee. So I don't know exactly what courses it's going to end up being, but we don't necessarily have like big plans when it comes to Foundation. We're just working with Ledgestone, who's running what you call it, the tournament. So Big Guy Little Disc said, are the 2 subscription boxes 5 different discs, the same ones with less discs? So the feature disc is the same disc in both. So there is that overlap. The secondary disc in the 2-disc box most months will be one of the 2 other from the 3-disc box. But some months there might be a situation where the 2-disc box has a secondary different disc. But very rarely will there be, actually probably never will there be 5 completely different discs. There might be at some points 4, but never 5. So the reason the 2-disc box exists is for people who want to be a part of the subscription box, want to get in on some of the like fun custom stamps and stuff we do, but $45 a month is just too steep of a price, which I fully understand. We just can't cut the 3-disc box pricing anymore. So that's why we created the 2-disc box. So it gives another option. So there's no incentive to buy both boxes, if that's kind of what the question's getting at. There's no incentive to buy both. Basically, the 3-disc box is the better value. You get 3 premium plastic discs, at least one of them custom stamped, typically 2. This month, all 3 are custom stamped, and you get a swag item for $45. The 2-disc box, you get 1 custom stamp guarantee. The other one's at least a stock premium disc, but some months, like this month, is also going to be a custom stamp, and that's it for $32. So the value is definitely bigger in the 3-disc box, but the 2-disc box exists to offer it a little bit lower price point. That's the 1-2 there. So, yeah. Pradacaster said, did we get a chance to play any other courses in Nashville? So we played Seven Oaks, which is awesome. And then we drove on the like really stormy day on Thursday. We drove about an hour and a half southeast to Winchester and played Winchester City Park, which was incredible. And then we also played Sunshine Rotary in Tullahoma, which was okay. So, yeah. Shay said, thoughts on Infinite getting exclusive access to Discraft's new glow buzzes? I have no idea what that's referenced to. Typically, if there's exclusive access to anything, it's because it's a custom run, and everyone has access to that. You just have to order enough of them. So like that's how we've done. I don't know what like the Aceathon zone. We had exclusive access to ESP Jawbreaker zones for a certain period of time. When we did Crystal Raptors back in the day, when we did Jawbreaker Wasp back in the day, like there's a window after an exclusive run where no one else can run them. So I don't know if that's this case, but it doesn't bother me. We've done it more than probably any other. Us and Ledgestone have probably done more Discraft runs than most other companies. So I'm obviously not going to care if someone else is doing it too. Tulo said, let's talk Ryder Cup with unfinished business group and fan base. Message me in Discord. I don't know if you mean Ryder Cup or President's Cup, because Disc Golf doesn't have a Ryder Cup. We have a President's Cup, but I'm always down to talk President's Cup. So, all right, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Not a ton going on this week, like I said, on the site, but we do have some sick Robbie C disc dropping. We have some more restock and fun stuff, but the big thing is this Friday we'll reveal what the subscription box is, but the big thing is you have the 3-disc box and the 2-disc box. The 2-disc box has 2 custom stamps this month. The 3-disc box has 3 custom stamps this month. So basically with the 3-disc box, you get 1 additional. You get the same 2 as the 2 plus 1 and a swag item. And this month's box is very, very cool. I think it's probably going to be the most in-demand box we've done yet. So if you want to trust me on it, you can go ahead and pick them up on the site. If you want to wait till Friday, we'll show you what it is Friday. So, but yeah. We'll talk to you then. Appreciate you all, and I'll see you again next week.